And put her over here. Okay, before we begin, I want to remind everyone attending this evening's meeting in person that the meeting is being recorded and that this room is equipped with super receptive microphones throughout that will pick up any talking. So please refrain from having sidebar discussions that you do not wish for the microphones to pick up. With that being said, I would like to call the study session of August 12th, 2024 to at 6 p.m. And first thing on our agenda is a library update, and I will call on City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight you'll be hearing from Pierce County Library District Executive Director Gretchen Casarati. We'll be giving you an update on a few current library items, as well as an update on the future new library on Main Street. So with that, I'll turn over to Gretchen.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. I'm joined here this evening with Ben Haynes and Jasmine Tran, our Regional Services Manager, who are working every day in this area, whereas my job as the Executive Director is to oversee the library system. I've been visiting with city councils across Pierce County to share a little bit about our annual report. And as Jason mentioned, tonight we'll share some of the first sneak peeks of new library images just here tonight. So appreciate your time. For the benefit of those who might not know, many of you all do, having had me here before, Pierce County Library System is a 19-branch system. We are the 4th largest in the state, so we do serve more than 670,000 people across our system. We are a junior taxing district, and we are overseen by a board of 5 members of trustees, which are appointed by the Pierce County Executive and ratified by Council. We do have more than 1 million items in our collections. And as far as our annual report goes, our budget annually is around 43 million. We do have our materials available on the library's website, as the full budget and annual reports and all those materials are freely available, as well as print copies if anyone would prefer to have a print copy. The majority of our budget goes to personnel. Common in many industries, including public libraries, our budget is around 70% for salaries, wages, benefits, the whole package. Commonly in libraries, around 10% of our budget goes to our collections. This year, our library's budget was 11% for collections, mainly driven by our digital content. During the pandemic, we saw a huge spike in new users come to use the library's digital collections. And if anyone's followed any of the news coming out of Seattle, there's increasing discussions around the costs of digital materials. So while we might buy a print copy of a bestseller for $18, that ebook might cost us as much as $68. And there's some complications in an unsettled market. So we are seeing big drivers around digital content, both for demand of the people using our system, as well as the costs that come with those. So right now, our use is about split of digital and physical collections. We also, of course, have money for our maintenance of facilities and other operational needs. But those main drivers are what our annual budget is allocated toward. We are really grateful to have a lot of support. We have a foundation that raises money for our capital and operating expenses. And last year they raised $45,000 at our annual Trivia Bee. This year will be on October 26th, save the date, Foss Seaport Waterway. It is such a fun event. And then we also have Friends of the Library chapter. So our Sumner Friends of the Library chapter helps by donating accepting donated books and then having book sales in the library branch, and encourage anyone interested to get involved and volunteer and work with our Sumner Friends. For the library system, we report to the state each year. We are required to report some basic statistics. That's set actually at the federal level. That goes through the Institute of Museum Library Science Services for all the states, and the state libraries collect and capture all of that data. So for all of the data nerds out there like me who want to download the CSV file, all of that information is freely available on the Secretary of State's website. We are starting to see that settling post-pandemic. Things have been normalizing. Much of 2023, we brought back all of our in-person programming, all of our full hours of operation. And so with a lot of new staff, we've also been really working on onboarding. About a third of our staff are new. So there's this little snapshot with more information online, and I would like to invite Ben to share a little bit more about the Sumner Library, not just the library system.
Sure. I mean, you can see the statistics that we have up there, built in 1980. We've got to keep it together for a couple more years. Last year we had almost 70,000 visitors. And like Gretchen said, the pandemic really was a shock to what we do. And since then, we've been trying to figure out what the new normal is, what it looks like, what our role is. But those numbers that you see up there have been growing every year since the pandemic and continue to grow. We're already on track to do significantly more than 142 classes and events in 2024. We're just finding what the community wants now compared to what they wanted before the pandemic, and figuring out how to bring that to them. One thing I did want to point out is how important our community connections are to the work that we do. I know I was with Mayor Hayden on Saturday at the Chalk Art Festival, helping with that. Over the summer, our library has brought story time to the YMCA summer camps and Camp Possible at the YMCA. And every month we do a drop-in tech help and a book club at the senior center. So we wouldn't be able to do what we do without the support of the community and our community partners.
The library system appreciates everyone who participated in our survey. Recently, we have finished the data gathering phase of new strategic planning and are currently finishing up drafts that we'll be workshopping with our board through the rest of the year. We are really just working on a 5-year strategic plan for our operations. We have a lot of new leaders and a lot of new staff. So we appreciate everyone's participation in that. Stay tuned for more information towards the end of the year. And this is also such a new, an important area for us is planning. And so we're also undergoing long-range capital planning for the whole system. Obviously, we have our building in progress here, and then we're working on some library buildings in Tillicum and Lakewood, the downtown Lakewood area. So building condition assessments have been completed for all of our own facilities, and we're just embarking on phase 2 of long-range capital planning for our leased facilities, enhancements, what do the spaces need to look like, as well as modern advancements in libraries and things. And we'll take a look at vehicles, electric vehicles, for example, and all of that stuff. So we're looking forward to spending the next year really wrapping our arms around the whole system's facility needs. And now, drum roll please, here are the first images for the new Sumner Library, which we know everyone is excited about. And we are having a great time working on this project. So Johnston Architects was selected through our RFQ process. And we went right out of the gate working with them on early design and the first few phases. They are a firm that has done a number of libraries, including the award-winning Winthrop Library, which I'm going to see next month. I'm excited. And then they also have designed some larger ones like the Bozeman Public Library and a couple of other ones. So we've completed the pre-design and schematic design phases, and we are just now moving into the design development phase. And this phase is what will include public engagement activities. I'll share a few more of those with you shortly. And for anyone who is interested, the Board of Trustees has our meeting on the 14th at 3:30 p.m. and the architects will be presenting a full design presentation to our board. So I'm giving you some snapshots tonight, and anyone would be invited to listen in or watch that open meeting on Wednesday. So the site of early designs, we had conceptualized a building of about 20,000 square feet. Once we actually dug into design, working with our great partners here in the city for access and parking and traffic and all the site conditions and things we needed to know. We've been right sizing the building for that property. So what you see before you is not done forever deal. What we will be doing is sharing images like this with community members over the next couple of months to get feedback. I was just told we had 36 teens come to a workshop with our architects just recently. And so these don't reflect any of that input yet, but we will continue to refine these. We're really pleased, just to orient you to the site. Main Street is along the top of the image itself. So it's, pretty straightforward view there. We are excited about having a community space. It says room on there, but that's the space that we've been working with the Sumner Rotary and some other folks to start to envision what a space might look like for providing resources for people to help them navigate the variety of services that are out there. So we can now start to move forward into better defining and refining the space now that we've actually got some footprint to be working with. We wanted to have a space like that be near the front, but also inside the library. And so we want to make sure that it's accessible and also really a dignified space that's very inclusive in the library. So we'll have a separate children's program room area, an adult reading room that's going to have the great south windows on the south side of the property. And then envisioning sort of almost like an extension of a main street coming through to have a north and south entrance. So there'll be great pedestrian bicycle access and an activated plaza area on the main street side. And then the main parking lot will be on the south end of the property. So most people will come in through the south side there. And so we've centralized the stacks, the open areas, and the circulation desk for providing services from the staff. One of those little sets of tables would be for computers. We'll also start to envision what the locations would be, how many we need, the next stage of this design process. Here's a couple of images that we're thinking about, and we're working with the architects on costs. We continue to be in a very high construction market, and so the cost per square foot remains really high. But the team has been doing a great job at giving us options and continually cost estimating as we move through the process. So these will be some of the types of images we'll be sharing with the community to get some feedback on, as well as what we can afford with the cost of things. Inside, this is just a simple rendering of what the anticipated light and interior could look like with the amount of glass. Most libraries are built with a lot of glass. This is south facing, and we envision having an outdoor area that would be landscaped on the south side of the building as well. Gosh, I didn't even look at my notes. I hope I covered everything. I neglected to mention one thing that we're working on. I'm going to go back to the floor plan quickly. Is we are planning to include a sensory room for neurodivergent young people. Well, it could be for anyone, but oops, I went too far. This one. So by the library program room on the west side of the building, the study room, library program room, right in front of there, it's not labeled, you can't see that easily. Right now we're working with a space that we could envision to have a place where somebody who maybe needs to minimize some sensory inputs, or to have a place where they need to just be able to kind of calm down or recalibrate. I had the opportunity to work on a space like that in my last community, and the parents of the children and teens that use that space were very appreciative of having a space like that. So right now we are still hoping that we can design a space like that in this library as well. So in the public engagement phase, which is coming out next, we are having lots of focus groups. We'll be hosting some community workshops later, I think September. I'm sorry, I don't have a date in front of me, and some open houses, mostly through the staff in the branch, and a newsletter. We don't have this website live yet, that there will be a website that the architects have been working on, and it should be launching as we move into this public phase. So it's just not live today. It may be live later this week after we present to the board. I'm not sure yet. So invite anyone to sign up for the newsletters to get the news directly. And then we'll be sure to keep coming back to provide information to you all about opportunities, either to help promote, to encourage people to come, or to come yourself to stay up to date. As far as the timeline goes, this is a very ambitious construction schedule, but we are very motivated. And so what we're looking at right now is to continue the design phases to move into hopefully construction documents and permitting towards the end of this year, bidding early next year, and construction starting in 25. So keep your fingers crossed. And we're doing everything we can. The architects are really keeping their foot on the gas with us, so we appreciate that. We do have some fun events coming up, though, that Ben can share a little bit of information about.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a regular nonfiction book club, the Writers Open Mic. One of the things we have been getting great response for is encouraging community members who are writers, who are artists, to meet others who are working in creative fields, either professionally or as a hobby. So we have an open mic scheduled that'll hopefully be a regular event where people can come and sort of workshop and read their work. And for kids as well, the poetry and writing workshop that our teen librarian is running has been having around 10 teenagers come regularly. And hopefully that'll grow as they start to tell their friends and bring them along. We've got Gonzaga Music and Dance, which is an African dance program. It has a sort of cultural history, as well as just being a fun chance for the family to get out there and get moving. And then, of course, we'll always have our story times. Right now, they're on Tuesday mornings. We've got a baby story time and a family story time pretty much every week.
Thank you. And I'd like to just leave you with a story about Clarissa. Clarissa is a recent graduate who lives here in Sumner who faced some unexpected internet issues as she was preparing for an important virtual job interview. But she knew that she could connect to the library, and she rushed over where the staff were able to quickly help her sign up to use a study room, connect to the library's high-speed Wi-Fi, and she even had enough time to prep before the interview started. And she returned to the library just a couple weeks later to let the staff know that she got the job. And the new clinical trial assistant, Clarissa, showed her newfound appreciation for the library by also signing up for a library card.
There you go.
So we're grateful for that
Yeah,
too.
she said it's a very sweet thing.
So at all of our Pierce County Library branches, we provide free Wi-Fi. And our library workers are ready and available and eager to assist people with all of their information needs. And the new Sumner Library is going to bring so many wonderful public computers and access and space. And so anyone will be welcome to use the library's resources to land their dream jobs too. So thank you for your time tonight. Do we have time for questions or?
Sure.
Do we have any questions?
I talked really fast.
You must have said all the right things because it looks like we have no questions.
Yeah, one question.
Oh,
I was just curious the timeline. So if you start May of 25, is it 9 months, a year for opening day?
I'm not
people-
sure how to answer that because there's been so much volatility in construction in recent years. There's supply chain issues still happening with doors and windows. We're not sure, with the Department of Ecology, if we, there's still some unknowns, but I would say, to 18 months for construction or something that size-ish.
Thank you.
I think we'll know more by the end of this year, once we hit, actually having the design finalized, the construction documents and into bidding. If part of the schedule is also around timing for bidding so that we can maximize value and the available labor. So that's something that also is impacting the market is the available construction labor.
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much. It's great to see you all again.
Okay, we will move on to our Community Partners Fund and the applicant presentations. And I am going to call on Community Development Director Ryan Windish. Kick us off.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thanks for having me tonight. This is the presentations for the 25-26 biennial budget Community Partners Fund. And I'm excited to be here making this happen with a clicker that's not quite working yet. There we go. Perfect. Sure I didn't miss the first. There it is. This is the second time, I'll talk about this a little bit more, but this is the second time we've done this process. And we had a application process for the spring or the summer, with July 31st being the deadline. And today you're going to hear from 11 applicants for these council presentations. Each applicant gets 5 minutes to kind of explain their organization and their request for funding. And then on September 3rd, the council will be meeting to talk about what they heard and really having, I think, a really difficult time trying to figure out, what's going to be funded and how much. And then ultimately that gets melded into the budget process, and the council will be passing their budget later this fall. A little bit of history on the Community Partners Fund. Traditionally, the council would fund organizations like the Sumner Main Street Association. There was some funding that went to them, as well as the Sumner Bonnie Lake Family Center as community partners. And really what this fund does, I believe, is it really leverages city funds to help with services, important services and programs in the community to help residents and business. And that's really the intent. And in 2023, 2024, when we did that budget process, it was brand new. We said, let's try this. Let's give other organizations in the community a chance to apply for basically grants for their organization in order to help, again, kind of leverage and augment services that are already in the community. And the total was $200,000 over the entire biennium, so $100,000 per year. And so now we're back, 2025, 2026 budget process. This is the second time the council's had a chance to do this. We have twice as many applicants and an extra 50,000 increase over 2023, 2024 budget. So that's what is the current budget for capital funds is 250,000. So as I already said, really the objective is to allow for nonprofit organizations to apply for funding and make an ask in order to demonstrate that they're elevating overall and meeting community needs of their organization. It gives these organizations a chance to request funding, and I would expect you're going to hear, and if you haven't, I'm sure you've reviewed the applications, but highlight what they do for the community, how they're beneficial. And one of the other great benefits, I think, is it gives staff and council and the community in general an opportunity to hear from organizations that you may never have heard of. I honestly had never heard of Mikasa Housing before they applied in the last round. I had never heard of the Tacoma Area Literacy Council until they applied this year. So I think you're going to be surprised maybe at some of these organizations that you haven't heard of before. And I think it's a great opportunity to highlight them and what they do. Well, Jeff, can you help me out with moving a slide forward? Right now. So what I'm going to do in terms of our process tonight is I have a cover slide for each one of the community partners, and I'll just give a little brief intro, and then we'll turn it over to them for 5 minutes. And for those who are presenting, we have one person, the first one's actually presenting on the screen virtually, but there's for those who will be presenting tonight, there's a clock over here on the left for your 5 minutes, and I think it's ready to roll as soon as you start talking. Yeah, I'll make sure it's on. So I'll do the intros and then we can get rolling. So 5 minute presentations, and then it's open for council to ask questions of each presenter. It doesn't go against the 5 minutes. So our first presenter is Generous Influencers, and Tyler Clark is going to be presenting online. And the Generous Influencers have been managing the Sumner Night Market this summer. They've had 2 night markets. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to attend one of those. So they manage and promote the Sumner Night Market to grow businesses and a sense of community in the downtown. And their funding request is $103,000. So Tyler Clark, you're on, take it away.
Let's try that. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person. I'm still in Texas, flying back in tomorrow. But I'm representing Generous Influencers. I hope some of you have also seen not only the Sumner Night Market, but the Puyallup Night Market. That's kind of the model that we're trying to grow out for Sumner. Our real hope and vision is to help develop small and micro business, promoting local business first, of course, and then trying to be a great neighbor in the community and work within the businesses that are around there. The Puyallup market has been a great model and a great partnership with the city, and we're hoping to be able to engage in the same kind of partnership. We've been working through with Lana and Ryan and just helping to advocate for small business. We really believe at Generous Influencers that if we help small businesses thrive, that it helps families thrive, which helps the community thrive. And so we've been a business incubator of sorts. I'm sure you're all familiar with Ball and Charcuterie and Eternal Soul Bowl. Well, before they were brick and mortar locations for y'all, they actually came through the Puyallup Night Market. And that was an incubator to help them develop business. Our hope is to continue to be able to foster and develop that from somebody who has an idea to be able to execute and help them walk through the process of business development. And in partnership with the Puyallup Night Market, we're serving both vendors to be able to produce an environment where the community can be invested in and relationships can be built in a really personal way. And then commerce is produced. And so we've had some really great conversations with businesses. One of the things that we've been really proud of is Electric Coffee extended their hours to overlap with the market to be able to help serve that. And so one ways we serve them is to not have like a coffee vendor present, to be able to serve them as they keep their businesses hours open, and we promote them within the event. The proposal that we put before you was for 12 events for the next 2 years. I think there's some flexibility on how we can kind of see what best fits your needs. But if we were to run 12 events next year and the following year, those costs break down into about a third of the cost or permits and needs that way. The second would be advertising and administration, and then the third part would be some salary for incubation there. All with the hope of continuing to build small business and to bring some more tourism into Sumner. And so we'd love to see some more brick and mortars and to be able to have advantageous relationships with the businesses, not only around near Heritage Park, but all down in Main Street, of course, as well. And we're looking at some creative ways to be able to engage maybe a woodworking competition with the junior highs or high schools to be able to participate in the market, or an art gallery that would be a part of the market. Just some other ways to get families and engage the community in the event, while also supporting the small business and building relationship that way. A couple statistics that might be helpful if we are to benefit from Puyallup's market. They run between 800 and 1,500 people an event. And when they run the special events, it's between 2,000 and 2,500. They've got a social media following of about 10,000, and they are mobilized social media that show up to events. And so we really think there's a lot of opportunity to bolster the commerce that's happening in downtown and in Sumner. And on Friday night, which would be our proposal, at least for right now, unless we find needs are different. There may be also some tourism benefit as well, of hotels and some other businesses benefiting from some of the traffic that we're driving. Puyallup really had a great partnership with helping with some of the cost of the infrastructure with the pavilion and that kind of thing and reduce some cost. And if we were able to design more partnership, then I think our request here could be adjusted and fit to be a better piece. But we really think this is a great way to help small business and have a proven track record of doing that. Would love to bring more of that to Sumner next year. Thank you for your time.
Right,
Do
thank
you want
you,
to take
Tyler.
questions after each one? Or
Yeah, I think that would be best.
do we have questions for him, anybody? Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Tyler, thank you for your presentation. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate what you're doing in the community. I just was curious on your application, different than the other ones we had. You said you wouldn't accept less. Can you clarify? It sounds like in what you mentioned at the end that you would be flexible.
I think I made a mistake on answering that question. We would definitely discuss a different amount. Really, with the timing of how this is kind of presented, it was not super clear to see exactly what does Sumner want, and I don't want to overshoot what your proposal, what fits your needs the best. And so yes, the answer is should be yes. We would be interested in less. But the cost that we associated with that would be 12 events running the next 2 years. So if we wanted to say, hey, we want to do 6, then we could kind of adjust and see what fits you guys all the best.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Anybody else? Oh, Barbara.
So, how did you get your funding for this year's night markets?
That's a good question. So we've had some light sponsorship. The Cannery was one of the sponsors, and Generous Influencers from the Puyallup Night Market has been our biggest sponsor to help us offset costs. I also have volunteered all of my time with the process for this, for getting these 4 events up and going. And so there's been a lot of volunteer time that's been invested in that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tyler. So the next community partner is the Mikasa Housing LLC. Mikasa owns and manages 18 affordable housing units in Sumner, and their funding request is $20,000. See, gotta make sure the microphone's on. Timer. I'll start up.
Says off. Should I press the? You're good. It's good, okay. I'm Holly Emerson and I'm secretary for the board of Mikasa Housing. We have Steve Miller here this evening, who's our board president, and Nanette Flynn, who's our board treasurer. Mikasa is a 501c3 nonprofit, all volunteer organization, and we're dedicated to providing long-term affordable housing. In 1991, Mikasa began the process of purchasing properties to rent to low-income tenants who were experiencing hard times or domestic crisis, and they were in need of long-term housing. We now have 38 units in 12 buildings, and those are all in the Puyallup and Sumner area, and almost 50-50. We have duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. Our long-term housing gives needy families the time and security to rebuild their lives, and it allows their children to stay in school. Tenants stay with us as long as they have financial need. We conduct annual income reviews and adjust rents as justified by the family income. We have no physical office or paid staff, so all grant monies, donations, and income goes directly to keeping rents low and maintaining our buildings. Here in Sumner, we have 18 units. We have 3 2-bedroom fourplexes and 2 3-bedroom triplexes, and they're located just a few blocks and within easy walking distance of your Fred Meyer Farm shopping center. Mikasa strives to keep our properties attractive and safe and free from the stigma of poverty. And our Sumner properties have required a good amount of work to make that happen. In the last 4 years, we've replaced a roof and repaired gutters. We installed a stormwater management system. We've completed major exterior and interior renovations and replaced appliances. And most recently, just a few weeks ago, we repaired a water leak that was inside a wall in one of our units. And so you know how much trouble that can be. We all know a safe and stable home is essential for a healthy life. Children who grow up in a stable home do better in school, and they increase their chances of moving out of poverty and into a better future. And Mikasa helps 18 families here in Sumner to do just that by giving them the time needed to turn their lives around with affordable rents and long-term stable housing. Rent is the single biggest expense for most people and often the most worrisome. And I think all of us in this room can remember times in our lives where we worried about whether we'd make the mortgage payment on time or be able to make our rent, and how that feels. When low-income families know they can afford their rent each month, they decrease the stress and anxiety in their homes. They make better employees. We have better students. It frees up their ability to spend more time and to spend more money on other essential items, and also some fun things. Stable housing is the key to reducing intergenerational poverty and increasing economic stability. The city of Sumner benefits from your investment in us in several ways. Our tenants have more money to spend in the community because only 30% of the family's income goes toward their rent. Our well-kept buildings preserve the beauty and property values of the neighborhood. Some of these tenants might, if they weren't living in affordable housing, might be living on the streets or finding a place in a park. And we all know how burdensome that is in any community. You all have our fact sheet and the annual report, and that breaks down how much we spend in different areas and gives you more information about Mikasa. This community partner grant will help offset some of the necessary costs of water, sewer, fire insurance, lawn care, and maintenance and repairs. These things, although not very exciting, are really essential expenses for Mikasa and will help to ensure that our Sumner buildings and properties are well kept and safe. We thank you for your past support and hope you will again consider Mikasa in this upcoming budget time.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Any questions about on this end? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Doesn't like you, right?
Thanks, Jeff. Our next community partner is the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce. And Chamber of Commerce promotes and advocates for Sumner businesses, including training, networking, and tourism. Under request of $80,000. We have Justin Jones to present. Hello, Justin.
Thanks, Ryan. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for the opportunity to share about the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce and our upcoming plans in Sumner as you look at how you're going to do your support throughout the community. So I'm Justin Jones. I'm the co-owner of JMJ Team Civil Engineering here in Sumner, as well as Township 20. Also, I sit on the board of directors for the chamber, and hence why I'm speaking to you tonight. So a little bit about the chamber. So the chamber serves the communities of Sumner and Puyallup. Currently, there's about 350 active members, and the offices are located in downtown Puyallup. And about 30% of the revenue for the chamber comes from City of Puyallup LTAC funding. And that's why you see these events in Puyallup, like the Red, White, and Kaboom and Puyallup, things like that, where And so that's kind of that event focused piece of the chamber. The remainder of the funding really comes from membership dues and fundraising. So as many of you know, the chamber is definitely evolving in 2024 and really with a focus on the fundamentals of helping businesses create jobs and growing the local economy. So to do that, we realize as a chamber that we need to be committed to listening to the citizens, the business leaders, and government of these communities. And really of Sumner. So the idea to be able to spend more time in Sumner with the chamber, really understanding the business needs in Sumner. So how are we going to do that? So we know that we have to engage with the city to be successful with this. So one of the items is we've got a new CEO coming in. So we're actually doing in the rounds of final interviews and hope to have a new CEO in place in September, October 2024. So soon enough. We really want to look at more of a focused meetings with city, school district, government, as well as then connecting to businesses within Sumner beyond our current members. And that includes doing virtual surveys, doing more industry type meetings within Sumner to really understand what are the business needs that are out there, and even doing more town hall type of events. So getting away from events and doing more business structure type of items. The outcomes that we're looking to do in the next few years within Sumner would be potential business training classes, incubator programs, business advocacy, other items that might come out of this process to figure out what is really needed for the business community in Sumner. So with that, I know that I think our staff had asked for $80,000. We're really looking to just put together a program and move forward in the next couple of years and have a more of a presence in the community of Sumner with the chamber. So thanks for your time. Any questions you have, I'd take them.
Any questions? And down here? We changed the name to Sumner Puyallup.
I would go for that.
Just
Yes,
saying.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Next presentation will be from the Sumner Bonnie Lake Family Center. It's, as I mentioned earlier, has historically been funded by the city, and the mission is to build safe, stable, nurturing relationships as well as environments for children and youth. And that's a one sentence summary. So much more. So Marilee Hill Anderson is here to present on the Sumner.
Thank you, Mr. Windisch, so much. Madam Mayor, members of the council, it's a delight to be with you again today. And I know Ryan has that clock here just for me because you know that I'm pretty passionate about the Sumner Bonnie Lake Family Resource Center. We have been partners, Sumner Bonnie Lake School District. I love the smiles. Thank you. That helps us feel a little bit more at ease when we are speaking here. This is important to all of us. We've been partners, the district, the city of Sumner, the city of Bonnie Lake. In the last 10 years, the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department to fund a linchpin person, our family resource coordinator at the center, and some programs in order to be the flexible resource that you need to help our families get to the goal that Ryan articulated for us. Can you imagine just within the city of Sumner itself with 10,000 people, and we really want the children in our community of our population to have safe, stable, and nurturing relationships and environments. There are a whole lot of things that happen, right? That are gaps between what we want and where people are at. And in addition to the kinds of programs I just described in my proposal, which I'll talk about in just a second, we try to be flexible. I wanted to have a little bit more of an articulated presentation for you today, but I had to be flexible to serve for our coordinator today. And perhaps that's the story I needed to tell you, because we can talk today about the program we have with the Y, where she came to us to get a 3-month voucher for the Y. We are so excited that we are a partner as well with Gordon Family YMCA for that. But what started as a voucher for the Y request ended up with me hearing the story of a mom that lost her husband 3 months ago with 2 children at home. And there's a 2-month gap between the end of the paycheck her husband last received and the next payment that will come. And she didn't know where she was going to get food. And so, yes, she got the Y voucher, but there was some Kleenex and there was some listening to tears. And there were explanations about the incredible Sumner Community Food Bank, as well as Good Roots Northwest. We talked about Grief Share, and we talked about Bridges, the Center for Grieving Children. What started out as a program, a staple program that we have, ended up into an hour and 15-minute conversation, helping meet the entire needs of that family here within our district. And I promise you, that's the kind of love and support that we give your families every day when they come in. They may come in for diapers, but the woman that came into diapers today was without food at home. One more thing, she was a member of the WIC program, but missed her appointment. It was a 2-month wait to try to get eggs and protein. And what do you do? Because, you know, any one of us could pull up our iPhones, or we could get a resource sheet, right? And look for that resource. I'll get a little choked up. It's been a day. But it takes real people in places like family resource centers to walk people through that maze of resources, right? It's just a part of me that fills in for my coordinator when she's gone, and this full-time coordinator that can help make that happen. I've got 1 minute and 45 seconds left, so I've got to speed up. But I hope that in our presentation, you have seen that in addition to our family center coordinator, in addition to our back to school projects that we're going to host this week and next week, serving over 1,000 of your residents, right? That in addition to all of that, in addition to our Latinx Family Advocacy Project, serving over 400 parents and children, in addition to our Center for Strong Families, I see Donna Panapinto in the audience, that she graciously helped fund here in our community, that we have these programs that strengthen families, but we have that one-on-one support that nobody else in the community can offer, with a skilled person that is trained to basically take who comes in the door and the kinds of things that they share with us that they need help with. This is really different than the presentation I thought I was going to give, but I think it maybe will help us stand apart just a little bit more from what else you might hear. And you may wonder, why did I bring Nikes? Because I'm asking you to invest $30,000 into our coordinator and keep that, you know, decades-long partnership going, and $5,000 into program. But last Monday, because we had our coordinator on site, I was able to partner with the Sumner Community Food Bank. We went to Aberdeen and we got 1,200 pair of brand new Nikes valued at over $60,000 that we're going to be distributing in your community on August 22nd. We leverage your resources to bring in so much more. We also helped make sure that through translation services and helping our families with free lunch applications, we also got free lunch for Maple Lawn students worth over $160,000 for this school year. That's what we're doing for you. I hope you'll continue your funding of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And aren't these cute?
Questions for Marilee? Anybody? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next community partner is the Schoolie Foundation. And they provide resources and assistance to those experiencing homelessness, including temporary shelters, which are converted school buses. That's thus the Schoolie Foundation term. Temporary shelters, safe parking areas, and other services. Funding request is $100,000. And tonight we have Brandon Simmons here.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Brandon. I'm the founder of Schoolie Foundation. This is really new for me. I actually am a builder. That's what I do. I build buses. Prior to that, I built houses for the last 20 years. Prior to that, I was in the Marine Corps. But I work with my hands. So being up here is kind of intimidating for me, so I do apologize. I can do a lot when it comes to being out. I actually had the bus parked out here a little bit ago. Didn't realize all the parking was, so I parked here across the street. What we do is we take buses, convert them into mobile shelters for outreach. Down here in Sumner, actually, we did a Got the Bus event. There's a 40-foot city bus sitting at Renewal Construction. When they moved down here, they let us use part of their land that they have to gut our bus. We have a 40-foot bus. We're putting 4 shower stalls in that has 300 gallons of water on board. We can drive right into camps and allow showers right there. It has 300 gallons of water on board. We actually have a 300-gallon water tank where the gray water goes. So none of the water goes in the ground. So we pump it from the bottom of the shower right back into the bus. And we're talking to Pierce County Sewage, Steve. He's the individual letting us actually dump our gray water. So we are doing what we can to make sure not only are we utilizing the buses that are decommissioned, which every school district decommissions buses every year. I think it's 100,000 miles or 100,000 miles or 10 years you decommission a bus. By utilizing those from our superintendents and local school districts, we could reuse those buses as mobile shelters or, like I said, a shower bus. Just this Saturday, I took the bus, the outreach bus we call the mobile command unit. It's in the parking lot across the street. I gave 500 bottles of water and bubbly to different members in our community. By myself, it was one of those. We got 5 pallets of food and liquids that were donated, and everything has expiration dates, so you got to get rid of it. So I loaded 950 bottles of liquid, whether it was bubbly or water, in the bus, and I went to Tacoma Rescue Mission after they closed, parked in the parking lot, and everybody from the hill came down. It was pretty cool to be able to talk to everybody. I found 11 veterans that needed some resources. As a former Marine, we try to find as many veterans as we possibly can to see additional resources, but I ask every individual we talk to why they're in their situation and what do they need to get them out of that situation. Just like if we were to come down here in Sumner, we were to talk to individuals who are sleeping on park benches, somebody brought up earlier, when we engage directly with them and we ask them why they're in that situation. So instead of asking them to move along, instead of moving a camp from one location to the next, we want to go into the camp and figure out why people are there. And a lot of people believe that those individuals are hostile or something. I literally gave out 500 bottles of water to individuals. Not one of them was angry. I mean, some asked for more, which is always a if we're not coming back, why not? So that's what we're doing. Mobile shelters, when we say mobile shelters, let's talk pretty quick. We take the 5 window buses like the one we have outside. We put solar on top, gray water inside. We do fresh water on board as well. So it's 100% off grid, a divider wall so individuals can sleep inside. We can park them absolutely anywhere. And we can allow people that are on the streets to sleep somewhere safe. Or we're looking to partner with local churches. I'm going to Gig Harbor tomorrow. They have an issue of people being rural. When you look at homelessness, they're not just sitting on a park bench, they're actually in the woods somewhere. So we're looking at figuring out how we can utilize churches and safe parking places to bring people more into the community and then get them more evaluated. Problem we've run into, we've found when it comes to individuals experiencing homelessness, if you took someone that was living in a tent for 5 years and put them in an apartment, they feel out of place. They're not used to that community. They're used to hearing noises. That's what you get to experience in a bus still. So you're still actually taking them from the situation they're in, and they're still kind of in the same situation, but they're in a safe situation. They can still hear what's going on around them. But now it's warm. It's got food. It's got facilities for them to take a shower. We're building a bus that actually goes around and does gray water tank draining so that we're able to do that on our own. We have a laundry bus we're building. So a lot of things we're building. That's why we look for the funding. So what we're doing for the 49 cities in Pierce County is we're looking to make sure that from Buckley out to Gig Harbor, we're serving all the communities. Everyone has homelessness and we've experienced it and we've done a lot of things to resolve it over the years, but it's gotten worse. So we figured we could do something that was new. And after looking from people sleeping in tents to people sleeping in beds in a home, we wanted to figure out where did we fit in that chain of events? So that's where we came up with Schooley Foundation. That's about it.
Do you have any questions? Okay, Carla?
Thank you. How many people are helping you do this? How many people work with you? So you get the bus, you take it somewhere, you gut it out. So I heard you say you're making housing, sleeping, showering, laundry.
We're still building.
Right, you're building those. So how many people are helping you do this?
So our Gut the Bus event, we were in Sumner a month and a half ago. We had 20 people come down. We're partners with Bowers Plumbing, West Seattle Electric and Solar. They actually do all of our electric and solar. Bowers does all the plumbing. What we did is we created the avenue sideways of businesses to get involved. So whenever we were ready to do the building portions, that we had the professionals involved. So for like a short bus or mobile shelters, it takes about 5 days from the day we get the bus to the day somebody's sleeping in it to build one because of our volunteers. We're currently doing haircuts for Hope at Tacoma Public Libraries. Tomorrow is one of the events we'll be doing where we give haircuts at the local public libraries.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else? Question? No? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next presenter is the Sumner Community Food Bank. They're in downtown Sumner. They provide supplemental food to Sumner families and connect them to other services in the community. Their funding request is $80,000. And Anthony Apellis is their executive director.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. It's a pleasure to be in front of you once again. I have along with me John Rader, who is the food bank board chairperson. And we thank you for the past support that you've given the food bank. Our mission at the food bank has not changed. It is the same, and that's to provide our neighbors with equitable access to food and opportunities through community partnerships. You know, the rise of food insecurity in our community is not only well documented, but I think we all have felt the pinch of inflation and how that affects the kitchen table. In June of 2021, the Sumner Food Bank had 12 families that visited us. And we have this year hit a high of 120 families per day, and that's just in a 3-hour window. So the need continues to grow. And it's interesting because according to studies by the University of Washington and Washington State University, food insecurity now affects 49% of low-income households in our state as of 2023, and that grew from 27% in 2021. Food prices spiked 11% in 2022 and increased another 3% last year, causing families to pay more for the very same foods. Since the beginning of 2024, about 10% of the Sumner population has visited the food bank. Recent studies have put Washington State, and this was a study earlier that I saw this year, Washington State is the 4th most expensive state in the nation to buy food, which blew me away. I mean, it's cheaper to buy food in New York than it is in Washington State. As of Como came out with a study or a survey in November of 2023, where it said people who live paycheck to paycheck was 62% of all consumers. 45% of income earners of $100,000 or more are living paycheck to paycheck. So the thought of, you know, the clients that we serve is just low income or homeless people. That is not true. I mean, most food banks now are seeing middle income America enter the front door. And this funding will be a good investment for the people of Sumner since we provide program or emergency food and stability for Sumner families during a time of great uncertainty and financial hardship. By providing nutritious food and groceries, your funding will help these families focus on succeeding and getting back on their feet instead of worrying about where the next meal is coming from. These funds will be specifically used in running the food bank marketplace in the warehouse. The funds will be split between major expenses such as payroll, building equipment and vehicle costs, food purchases, and food for the backpack program, and also administrative and operational supplies and costs. Our current budget for this year is $825,000. $338,000 of that is spent on payroll. $264,000 will be spent on food purchases, and another $150,000 will be spent on facilities and equipment. So with this requested funding, we will continue to support our community and our residents by distributing over 4 million pounds of food this year. And that is the amount that we distributed last year. We're 500,000 pounds ahead of last year. So again, the need keeps increasing. We do have some supplemental funding that helps us support food purchases and a great partnership with some of the local trucking companies and logistical companies which provides a large portion of our donated goods. In the last 2 years, we have served over 2,500 Sumner residents. We serve on the average 150 Sumner residents per month, and we have served over 1,000 Sumner residents so far this year. We thank you for your continued support and the collaboration that we have with the city. The partnership has been amazing, and we thank you for the time to present this evening and for consideration of future support.
Thank you, Anthony. Any questions for Anthony? No? Any questions down here? No? Thank you.
Our community partners, the Sumner Main Street Association. Sumner Main Street has an office downtown. They work to stimulate economic growth, revitalization, enhance beautification of the downtown, nurture the historic preservation, and ensure the vitality of the downtown Sumner. Their funding request is $60,000, and we have Lori Waltier
Yep,
presenting. Take it away.
thank you. Thank you, Mayor Hayden and council members. I represent the Sumner Main Street Association, also known as SMSA. We're a volunteer-run 501c3 nonprofit with a board of directors made up of downtown business owners, downtown building owners, nonprofit leaders, people employed in Sumner's industrial center, and residents. As an accredited Washington Main Street Association, we follow the Main Street approach. This is a comprehensive strategy developed to revitalize the economy, the appearance, and image of downtown districts, built around a community's unique heritage and attributes. This approach integrates 4 main points: design, economic vitality, outreach, and promotion into practical downtown management strategy that is proven to boost the health and resilience of downtown districts across the state and even across the country. There is a direct link between an economically healthy downtown and the quality of life for city residents, and we play an important role. We support downtown businesses, we produce quality events that bring people downtown, and we promote downtown offerings for shopping, services, and entertainment. Additionally, we serve as a liaison between the city and our downtown merchants. We may be best known for our events, especially Rhubarb Days and our Sip and Strolls. By the way, our next Sip and Stroll is coming up this Saturday. Shameless plug there. And while events can and do contribute to downtown vitality and quality of life, we are working hard to move a few other significant projects forward. The biggest project we're taking on is upgrading to commercial grade exterior lighting on the downtown buildings. We're working on a phased plan for this project, and we hope to begin early next year. This will require significant investment, but will generate rewards for many years to come. Right now, we're investing in high quality holiday decorations for downtown, and we're excited to have those on display in early November. We're also taking a more active role with business recruiting by building relationships with property owners and leasing agents, and we're revamping areas of our website for this purpose. We've built a large following on social media, which enables us to spotlight our downtown businesses, events, and gathering spaces. We're also building up our committees, recruiting new community members, and revamping those work plans. We're leveraging relationships with the Washington Small Business Development Center and others to provide more resources to our downtown businesses. We will implement quarterly workshops on multiple topics, including public safety and crime prevention. We're working on future facade improvement grants, safety programs, downtown cleanups, and more. Another way we contribute to the quality of life here in Sumner is by community engagement. Because we're volunteer run, we provide multiple opportunities for people to get involved. In this way, we help provide social connections and foster a sense of ownership in our community, as well as a sense of belonging. And when we say we're volunteer run, we aren't kidding. We have a paid staff of 2, which is more accurately 1.5 full-time equivalent employees. Our volunteers make up our board of directors, our committees, and we can't overlook the many members of our community simply show up and help us get things done. In fact, in our quarterly reports to Washington Main Street, we report anywhere from 400 to 800 hours of volunteer hours each quarter. But we do need funding to support our work. We do not collect dues, as we are not a dues-paying member organization. Our main sources of funding include donations, including those from the Main Street Tax Credit Incentive Program, sponsorships, and city support. Our partnership with the city is a major key to our success, and we appreciate the city's past support, including the in-kind support from reduced permitting fees for events like Rhubarb Days. Thank you for considering SMSA as a potential recipient of your community partner funds. Our board president, Nicole Wilsey, is here tonight, and she and I are welcome to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody down here? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Next community partners, the Sundance Circle Hippotherapy Foundation. They provide a unique therapy for developmentally disabled or delayed children and adults using horses. It's actually pretty amazing. If you've seen anything on this. Funding request, 25,000. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Hayden, Deputy Mayor Cole, council members. Happy to be here tonight. Thank you for having us. I'm Lisa Mulligan. I'm a volunteer at Sundance Circle Hippotherapy Ranch, as well as the president of the foundation, Sundance Circle Foundation. I'm here tonight with Demery McCurdy. And she's the executive director of the foundation, and she's going to help answer questions if we need them, if you have them. We are honored to be here this evening on behalf of this nonprofit, and we love it. We also really enjoying learning about these other nonprofits in the audience and with what you heard from them tonight. We have a great respect for everything you do. We know it's a lot, and we appreciate you. We all work together, I think, in some way. I wanted to start by giving you a sense of what we do and what hippotherapy is. Ryan, you said it. The thing that most people wonder, what does that mean, hippotherapy? Well, it's a strategy utilized by licensed therapists using horses to provide physical, occupational, and speech therapy to children and adults with disabilities. Something about the way a horse moves that helps develop the muscles and supporting tissues of patients. It's kind of a magic thing. Not really, but seems that way to me. Most of our patients are pediatric with varying diagnoses. At Sundance, we provide customized treatment plans to help each patient and their family meet their therapeutic goals. With limitations on availability of traditional therapy in our community, the trials that patients and their families face to get adequate treatment can be intimidating and financially overwhelming. We are an alternative to that can make a real difference, and we love that. Our licensed therapists and dedicated volunteers celebrate each new accomplishment with the patient, their caregivers, and their families. The foundation offers a scholarship program which helps families pay for therapy if they need it. Donations to the foundation are also used to help pay for all manner of horse care, salaries, and facility maintenance. We're the only organization of this kind in Pierce County, and we directly serve the people who live and work in the city of Sumner. Some of our patients and their families who benefit from therapy. Some are volunteers who find purpose and sense of community at and around the ranch. Some are members of the school district's transition program or interns participating in workforce development programs. The foundation's board of directors is made up of professionals from a variety of walks of life, sharing their experience and dedicated to ensuring that our operations are safe, fiscally responsible, and on course to meet our full potential. All are members of this local community. We all in this room know how it feels when we give a gift of service or something to someone who really needs it. That's what it feels like to work at the ranch. Much more of a blessing than a chore. Life challenges all of us in different ways. We at Sundance are blessed to help some of the people face some of the challenges. We have many warm and wonderful stories of patients and their families learning to overcome the challenges that life throws their way. Sometimes we witness heartbreak and frustration. We often get to see, though, the fun. We get to laugh along with the silly, to be inspired at the strength that they have to keep going, even despite the challenges. It's humbling to be a witness to that kind of humanity. At Sundance, we are a thriving community within a thriving community, and we love that. Thank you for your part in it and for your thoughtful consideration of our application. We know you have a difficult decision in front of you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Hi, thank you very much. So how long have you guys been doing this?
We started in 2017.
Okay. And where are you guys located at?
We are right behind Knutson Farm on Old Van Ogle Road.
Okay.
So in kind of the historic farm district area.
And do you guys take volunteers?
Always.
Okay, great.
I have so much need for volunteers. Yes, we'd love to have you, any of you entertain that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody? No? You have questions? No?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next presentation will be from the Tacoma Area Literacy Council. And they provide free one-on-one and classroom tutoring in basic literacy skills and English as a second language, ESL learning to adult learners. Their funding request is $3,000. Emily?
Thank
take it
you.
away.
Thank you for having us all. My name is Emily Wallner. I'm a volunteer with Tacoma Area Literacy Council. I wanted to tell you a little about what we do in general and then what we do specifically in Sumner. So in general, we do teach one-on-one and in classrooms. We have well over 100 learners currently, and they are from 30 or more countries, including the United States. We have more than 70 volunteers, and we have 0 paid staff. We all do this just because we are passionate about literacy. And we provide the service 100% for free for all of our learners. We've been around since 1968, which is 56 years. And Ryan had mentioned he'd never heard of us before. We focus a lot on very stable growth. There's a huge demand for English literacy, and there's only so many people that we can have doing the tutoring at a time. So we focus on being a very stable community. So we are also a 501c3 nonprofit. So in Sumner specifically, we've been teaching classes since 2015. We had a break for the pandemic. Most recently, we are at the Sumner Bonnie Lake Family Center next to Sumner Middle School. We teach 3 different classes there. We teach a basics course, which is the alphabet, counting, and English. Some of these people who attend that class were not literate in their native language, so we teach them the very basics. We have a beginner course where we teach vocabulary and grammar, and we have an intermediate course with more vocabulary, reading, more writing. We accept new learners all the time, and we don't have a set curriculum, so we can accept people whenever works for them. We meet people where they are. We want to enable them to learn and not be restricted by jobs, family, any of that. We want to help. So if we don't have a specific course and we don't do testing, how do we measure our success? We measure it through the stories we hear back from our learners. In the past year, we've heard of learners getting their GEDs, passing citizenship exams, getting jobs, getting promotions, and then more personal stories about forming specific sentences for particular scenarios. Things like ones that stick out in my mind are, my dog is having seizures. How to pronounce that exactly so that they understand it on the phone. How much is the deposit? Dad, I have a date this weekend. That one took me by surprise. Different use of the word date. So how can you help? We need books. We estimate we spend about $50 per learner in Sumner, and we have maybe up to 30 learners over the next couple of years. So doing the math, that comes out to about 3,000 total, 1,500 per year. And I will leave you with one other story. I recently met one of our learners. He is over 60. He grew up in Louisiana, but has lived in Washington for years. He is dyslexic, never learned to read. And last year he got to read his first book on his own. Thank you for your time and questions.
Any questions? Nope, 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 nope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next partner is United Way. United Way's program, this particular program, they do lots of things, United Way does, but this particular program is to promote literacy and learning for providing local children and low-income families a free book each month from their date of birth to their 5th birthday to promote literacy. Takes away.
Okay, well, good evening, and thank you, Mayor Hayden and Deputy Mayor Cole, and City Council members for giving me the opportunity. Lots of great presentations tonight. I think I'm last. But I'm Donna Ponapinto, and I'm the president and CEO of United Way of Pierce County. And United Way is our mission is uniting and mobilizing the caring power of community to tackle the issues that people care about here in Pierce County. We focus on a population called ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. And these are individuals that are struggling every day to make ends meet. We work with them. We see them every single day. And we know that in ALICE families, reading is important. It is also key to success. The more kids are ready and prepared for kindergarten is also important. And education is one of the key factors in reducing poverty, which is one of the reasons that we got involved with the Dolly Parton Foundation. We are an affiliate here in the state of Washington. Again, it puts books into the hands of children age 0 to 5, a book a month, and it's available to all children at no cost to families. Currently, within the Sumner city limits, there are about 180, a little bit more than that, 180 families that have signed up. When we look out kiddos outside the city, but are part of the Sumner School District, it's over 1,000 children. In Pierce County alone, there's 11,000 families that have signed up. This is very expensive. It's costing United Way about $10,000 a month. We do have funders, but that's why we go to various cities to try to request additional funding to target kiddos in their areas. In the application, we referenced Daffodil or Maple Elementary Schools. We work with Marilee and Dr. Dent at the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District as well, making sure that we're able to enroll more students. We know this program works. Some of the data, 25% increase in reading 3 or more times per week. We've seen a 30% increase in daily reading. Kindergarten, 28.9% increase in children ready for kindergarten. And for 3rd grade, 11% increase in students' overall reading scale scores at the end of 3rd grade. And we work with the state Dolly Parton organization. We'll be doing more research, but just having those books in the homes makes a difference. The funding will be used to maintain and grow the numbers here in Sumner. Total costs is about $25 a child per year. And again, it depends on the age of the child as well. Some other things in terms of the city of Sumner, when we talk about the ALICE population, 35% of the households are ALICE. So those are individuals that are 100% above poverty level and 100% above. They're above but below 200% of poverty level. So that gives you a highlight of what we're trying to do. Thank you for your consideration. I know you really do have someone who does a lot of granting out in the community. I know you have some tough decisions to make. So thank you for your consideration.
Any questions? No? Go ahead, Andy.
I've actually never heard of the Dolly Parton Foundation. You mentioned it a couple times. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, so Dolly Parton, back in 1995, started the foundation. They're all over the country. It's Dolly Parton. She was actually out here when every county in the state has an affiliate. But she just believes that if you can read, you can do anything. And it's really a promise that she made to her father before he passed away. I can also send you some additional information on the program, but they are, I believe, in every single state, and hundreds of thousands of kiddos every year get books until the age of 5. She's very generous and doing some really great work.
Thank you.
Last presentation is Vadas. Vadas assists individuals with disabilities by integrating them into our community through employment opportunities, I also believe they have some housing opportunities, so I'll let Chris Christian and Al.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you again. For those of you that may not be as familiar with Vadas, we are a community-based not-for-profit organization headquartered right here in Sumner. And interestingly, it was 50 years ago this month where we first opened up and we were supporting 2 people with developmental disabilities in the basement of the old Sumner High School gymnasium. It has long been torn down, teaching them how to repair and sell pallets, industrial pallets. Fast forward 50 years, we are still here headquartered in Sumner. We are also in 6 other counties and we now serve over 1,400 people with disabilities every month. We're very proud of our Sumner roots and our heritage, and we have grown to become one of the largest providers of employment support services for people with disabilities in the state of Washington. The only other thing I wanted to talk to you about before I turn it over to Valerie, more specific to our application, is that one of the values that we hold at Vadas is that every dime we get is heavily, if not harshly, stewarded, which means we wring out every dollar until it's screaming back at us. We've had to do that as a nonprofit all our days, and we continue to value that. And our second value is that with all of the need in the community and in the world that you hear, we only ask when we need. If we can do it some other way, if we can raise it on our own, then that's what we do, because we believe in not returning to a tap that has so many needs and wants. So with that, I'm going to let Valerie talk for a couple minutes about the unique nature of what we're asking for.
Hi, I'm Valerie Marr. Nice to meet you again, Mayor Hayden and council members. I am a program manager at Vadas, as Chris has mentioned, and I work out of our Sumner office here, which is our corporate office. I'm talking to you today about our request for $40,000 from the city of Sumner. I have overseen many programs for Vadas. I've been very blessed to be able to do that for folks who have a disability of all different types of disability who are adults. What we have found out in the last couple of years is that we shouldn't be waiting for them to be 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. We're actually now have a program called our Pre-Employment Transition Services Program, which is for students who are the ages of 14 to 21. And we are we have been heavily impacted by getting to know the students a little bit sooner in order to have positive placement, positive outcomes for them for employment when they leave either high school or their transition services. And so we do workshops and we work heavily with the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District, which includes Sumner High School, Bonnie Lake High School, and Eli Hill. This last school year, we had over 700 hours of pre-employment transition services that were provided to those 3 schools here in the city of Sumner and in Bonnie Lake. And we're very proud to have been able to provide services to them. We do workshops and there are 5 different points of workshops. One is self-advocacy, which we help them with learning how to dress for success, going to a job. Having them learn some safety in the community, safety on their cell phone, safety online, things like that. Another one is our work readiness training, which is helping them with resume building, cover letter writing, interviews, mock interviews, informational interviews, things like that. Get them more acclimated to job services and what could be ready for them. We have a new one that's called job and exploration counseling. And what that is that we're going to do more discovery with our students. We are going to learn more about them. We're going to find out what their desires are, their current skills are, and what they can learn. Another one that we do that's going to be new is post-secondary education. And what that is we're going to help them understand what it's like to ask for funding to go to a secondary college or a training school. And we're going to get them partnered up and have them meet some colleges so they would be acclimated more to that when it comes to that. And then the last one we do is work-based learning experiences, which is basically internships. And we've had those for the last couple of years. We've had 10 students out of our Sumner Bonnie Lake School District that have been able to do the internships. We just had one that just ended that did a over 40-hour paid internship at Napa here in town, and worked in the back room and was able to stock mechanical parts and learn more about something that this particular student was interested in, such as cars. So we're very excited about this opportunity and hope you give us an opportunity to continue to serve the city of Sumner.
Thank you.
Any questions? None? Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was the last of our presenters. I want to thank all the organizations for coming out tonight and for keeping under 5 minutes. That's
They did good.
5 minutes. So the next meeting will be September 3rd. It looks like I used the Spanish spelling for September up there. September 3rd, 2024, 6 p.m. at a special study session. That's when the council will discuss the various proposals. And if you're interested in attending that meeting, that's when it will be. So thank you all very much for coming.
Yep, thank you, guys. All right. City administrator report. No report tonight. Anybody have any agenda issues, any council meeting issues?
Are you sure?
None?
Are you sure? Yep. Because I can take it.
And we have no executive session. So I will adjourn this meeting at 7:25.